Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video, but before we get started this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But in today's video, I've got quite an interesting prediction to do. It's a very unrealistic prediction. This prediction is never going to happen, but you know, it's effectively just a video of the best Democratic candidate versus the worst Republican candidate, and I'll be doing a video where it's the best Republican candidate versus the worst Democratic candidate. But in this video, I have Joe Biden, Kamala Harris versus Marjorie Taylor Greene and Josh Hawley. And now Marjorie Taylor Greene, of course, has said some very questionable things, and of course she was removed from her committees from it. She's been called to be expelled by many people, but I'm going to be doing a prediction if she somehow won the Republican nomination in 2024. I have Josh Hawley as her VP, but I'm not going to take that much into account. And I think, you know, Joe Biden's effectively the best candidate that the Democrats could have. Marjorie Taylor Greene is the worst candidate the Republicans could have. So what would the map look like with that? So these safe states, I think, would be Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, North Dakota, South Dakota, all of Nebraska except for the 2nd District, Kansas, Oklahoma. Actually, Kansas probably wouldn't even be safe. Arkansas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, Kentucky, West Virginia, Indiana, as well as that's actually going to be it. So that's 92 safe electoral votes for Marjorie Taylor Greene, and then for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, they would win California, Oregon, Washington, New Mexico, Colorado, as well as Hawaii, of course, as well as Virginia. Minnesota would be a safe state. At this point, Illinois would be a safe state. New York, Vermont, New Hampshire would be safe. Maine at large and Maine's 1st District would be safe. Massachusetts, Rhode Island, Connecticut, New Jersey, Delaware, Maryland, D.C. Those would be all of the safe states, getting Joe Biden and Kamala Harris all the way up to 223 electoral votes already. And I can honestly see Nebraska's 2nd District going by a safe margin as well. So 224 to 92 after these safe electoral votes, which I categorize as being D plus 10 or R plus 10 or greater. So now the likely margin state, I think Kansas, Missouri, and Montana would all be likely margin states. These states win by roughly around the same amount, about 16 percentage points. And I think that, you know, the suburbs in Kansas and Missouri would have trended a little bit. Plus, I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene would have much rural appeals in Montana, at least not compared to Trump. So it would push both of those states just down under a likely margin. South Carolina would also go by likely margins. So would Alaska. So that is 124 likely electoral votes and likely and safe electoral votes for Marjorie Taylor Greene and Josh Hawley. Then for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I think they'd win Nevada by a likely margin. I think he would win Michigan by a likely margin, Wisconsin by a likely margin, Pennsylvania by a likely margin. I think all 3 of those states would go by a likely margin. I even think Georgia would go by a likely margin. The suburbs would absolutely hate Marjorie Taylor Greene, and it would just accelerate their trend towards the Democratic Party, and nobody's going to get the same rural turnout that Trump got. I don't even think Marjorie Taylor Greene could. So those are all of the likely margin states, and we can see that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris are already up to 290 electoral votes versus Marjorie Taylor Greene is only at 124 electoral votes. So now for the lean margin states, I don't actually think there's going to be any for Marjorie Taylor Greene and Josh Hawley, but I am going to put Arizona lean. I think this would be on the cusp of lean and likely, but I think that Joe Biden, since he doesn't do as well with Hispanic voters, and you know, I think he would certainly improve amongst them against Marjorie Taylor Greene, but it would be just on the cusp of being likely and lean. So I'm going to put it at lean for now. I think also North Carolina would be a lean Democratic state. I think this would be a pretty sure flip. I also think even Florida could be a lean flip, to be honest. I think Joe Biden, despite his problems with Latino voters, would do much better against Marjorie Taylor Greene. And of course, he would do much better in the suburbs, Hillsborough County, Pinellas, Duval. All of those counties he would do a lot better in. And so those are all of the lean margin states. Now for the till margin states, I actually think Biden would win Maine's 2nd District. I don't think Marjorie Taylor Greene would have very much appeal to Maine's 2nd District at all. Ohio would also be a till margin. Iowa would be a till margin. And Texas would be a till margin. The suburbs would keep trending. And Latino voters would trend back towards Joe Biden in this election, giving him a win of 414 to 124. And I know people are going to say, oh, you're biased because you're just, giving the best possible victory for Democrats. But I'm going to be doing this for the Republicans as well. Can Republicans win 414 electoral votes? What is their best path to victory? And what is their, effectively, the greatest number of electoral votes that they can reasonably and feasibly get? So I'll be doing a video on that as well. But I did want to do this video because it is quite interesting to see, if Democrats had the best year ever, they just had, a very, very strong year up and down the ballot, what would it look like? And at the top of the ballot, you would see Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, I think, getting 414 electoral votes. votes. Flipping from the 2020 election, Texas, Florida, North Carolina, Ohio, Iowa, Maine's second district being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 states or districts. So that would be a pretty big victory for them indeed. But, stay tuned. I'll be doing another version of this for the best Republican candidate versus the worst Democratic candidate. I know this is a short video as well, but, not much explanation for a lot of these states. What we would see is Marjorie Taylor Greene would do slightly worse in the rural areas. She would do much worse in the suburbs and, pretty bad with Latino voters as well. And, this is what I believe the map would look like. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.